There is a meme in the anime community about how every isekai is the same. They all have the same starting town, the same basic premise, the same main character. Even if the powers are a little bit different, there isn't much variance in these series. And while fans of the genre will argue that it's not necessarily true, they can't argue that the setting is almost always the same. A fantasy world. And more often than not, it's a fantasy world with classes, stats, quests, items, experience points, and levels. It's why people keep thinking Danmachi is an isekai. A show like Banished from the Hero's Party isn't an isekai, but the entire premise is based around the classes bestowed upon people by God. So why can't we have other settings? Well, if you're a reader and not just an anime-only person, you already know that there are plenty of isekai that don't take place in a fantasy world. Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. If you're new here, my name is Danon. I've been watching anime since 1985, and I'm currently reading over 500 manga or light novel series. As someone who has read a lot of manga and seen a lot of anime, as well as studied genre and story structure, I feel I have a pretty good grasp on which manga are worth your time, depending on your tastes. Which brings us to the subject of today's video, isekai that take place in a non-fantasy setting. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, I'm not talking about reverse isekai, though there are plenty of those. There's the classic devil is a part-timer, but you've also got Regarding that we decided to live in the countryside with the female knight who came to us, a delightful slice of life where a Tokyo businessman is learning to become a farmer, while at the same time a fantasy knight is learning about modern Japan. If you're wanting something a bit more ecchi, I recommend Plus-Sized Elf. Denizens of the fantasy world can return to their world with ease, but they can't bring anything extra back with them, especially all the weight they gained from gorging themselves on French fries. Of course, there's the phenomenal series Recreators, a reverse isekai where characters from a myriad of genres all come together in Tokyo to fight each other. But we're not talking about those. I'm also not talking about post-isekai, like The Hero Who Returned Remains the Strongest in the Modern World, Uncle from Another World, or Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero. I'm talking about isekai, where a character travels to another world, often after death but sometimes through a portal of some kind. Maybe it's a world that they're familiar with, some kind of MMO or manga they're reading. Now, I've already done a video about some sci-fi isekai, but I'll mention them briefly to start. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Otome games is tough for mobs is one of the best isekai series I've ever seen. I've watched the series 3 times now, and I've read all 10 of the light novels. In a lot of video game-based isekai, the main character either comes in as their character, like in Log Horizon or How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. They also have a deep understanding of the world. Maybe they require an adjustment period. Mouse and keyboard are different from actually casting spells after all. Or making potions. In this game, because our main character, Leon Fo Bartfort, full cleared the game and got the special hidden ending before being isekai'd into it, he was able to cheat and get Luxion, making him the most powerful character in the game. But Luxion isn't some magic summons. He's an AI, with a giant spaceship, and mechs. Not fantasy mecha powered by the hearts of slain dragons like in Escaflowne, but honest-to-God sci-fi mecha. Giant robots piloted by humans. And there are armies of these things. Now, you can't really call Trapped in a Dating Sim a proper sci-fi series. There is magic in addition to the science fiction. So this one, as well as the author's other series, is more of a science fantasy. I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire does lean more heavily towards the science fiction side of things, though. Giant mechs, space travel, interplanetary wars, and an empire that spans galaxies. But magic still does exist. You have magical elixirs, alchemy capable of transforming one material into another, curses that turn people to stone, and even extra spatial magic so that the inside of cockpits are bigger than on the outside. The only pure science fiction isekai that I've read so far is Reborn as a Space Mercenary, I woke up piloting the strongest starship. Like the title says, our main character woke up inside his spaceship one day. The one he designed in the MMO he was playing. He'd spent months designing and saving for the perfect ship, and now that he finally had it, he wasn't just playing it, he was living in it. But I suppose there are some tropes that even science fiction isekai can't get away from. Hot elf waifus. But on the flip side, later on in the series, you get a maid robot waifu, so it all balances out. But there are more genres out there than just science fiction and fantasy. While not exactly isekai, some time travel stories are isekai adjacent. Two of them both involve the main character dying, one from overwork at a black company and the other getting truck-cooned, and then reviving during their first year of high school. I know that time travel, especially going back in time to your younger self, isn't exactly isekai, but the series share a lot of the same tropes: death, reincarnation, and a main character who has advanced knowledge of the world. Please Leave Me Alone, for some reason she wants to change a lone wolf's helpless high school life, is about a boy who was a loner all the way through high school. He spent his days reading books and working on homework. A nerd, basically. Then, on the day he graduated, he sees the most popular girl in class about to get hit by a truck. He leaps into action, pushes her out of the way, and gets killed by the truck. He then wakes up and it's the first day of high school. Apparently, she prayed for there to be some other outcome, some way she could repay him. And now the two of them are starting their high school life over again. This time, she wants his life to be full of friends and laughter. But he doesn't know how to make friends. What's a loner to do? The Revenge of My Youth, My Real Life with a Girl Who Was Too Much of an Angel, has a similar premise. Main character finds out that his childhood crush lost a battle with depression, but because he was working for an exploitative company, he didn't find out until it was years too late. Finally, he died from overwork. When he wakes up on the first day of high school, he decides that this time, things will go differently. He will tell his childhood crush about his feelings, he won't take crap from other students, and he will live a good life. Only now, he's got the experience of a businessman in his 30s, so he's able to cut through all the high school drama and resolve things maturely, which pisses off everyone in their carefully crafted caste system. But our boy doesn't care. He's here to save the girl and live a good life. Again, neither of these series are exactly isekai, but they're isekai adjacent, so I wanted to mention them. But the rest of the series on this list are absolutely isekai. The first one was introduced to me by the notorious Sid Snap. The title is The World of Moral Reversal. The main girl wakes up in a world where boys try to hold onto their virginity, and girls are perverts who only think about sex. That's all I can really say about this manga if I hope to get monetized one day, so we'll move on to the next one. Though, the next one isn't much better. Ori no Genjutsu wa Ranai Game, Kato Otomura Injogaki no Game Data, is about a guy who gets stuck inside of a real-life game. The world is very similar to ours, but there is a game-like overlay. He gets special equipment, the ability to save and reload, and quests to resolve strange incidences. However, this is a very violent manga. Lots of brutal murders and various other events that shouldn't be discussed. The story is very good with lots of over-the-top characters. If you don't like yanderes, violence, and brutal justice, you should probably skip this one. For those who enjoy the more ecchi series, you should check out Isekai Yoruto Survival Seikatsu, Gaku no Mina to Isekai no Munjitsu te Tenishitako Oredake o Rakushu Desu. Sorry if I butchered that. An entire school winds up on a deserted island. However, this isn't a deserted island on Earth. The whole class got isekai'd. The quiet boy in class basically puts together a harem of girls who want to avoid the loud, obnoxious boys. Fortunately, he's done a lot of camping and has some survival training, so he's able to keep the girls alive. There are some very ecchi moments in this series, so try to avoid reading this one in public. Next up, one I wish had an official light novel release. Since I've entered the world of romantic comedy, I'll do my best to make the losing heroine happy. Main character is obsessed with a recent harem rom-com manga. Loves one of the girls in the harem. He knows she won't win, but she's still his favorite. After school, he picks up the latest volume of the manga and then gets truck-cooned. Wakes up and realizes he's in the main character's best friend's body. So, not the MC, but someone in the middle of all the harem drama. Thinking he's in a dream, he confesses to his waifu. The most over-the-top confession of all time. She's left speechless. Then our boy wakes up the next morning and realizes that this isn't a dream, and he's gonna have to face her again today. Finally, another one you shouldn't read in public. I was reincarnated as the scumbag from a Netorare manga, but the heroine is coming on to me. If you don't know what Netorare is, why are you watching a video about manga recommendations? Main character picks up a well-drawn adult manga to read later that night. After he gets home, he realizes that it's an NTR manga. Later on, he finds himself inside that same manga as the character who NTR'd the main girl. But he decides to change his fate. He wants to be a good boy. His head is throbbing, so he decides to go for a walk. He comes across a couple of delinquents harassing a girl on the street. Annoyed at their behavior, he steps in to save the girl, and of course, it's the NTR victim from the manga. This, followed by his interaction with her, sets him on the road that he was hoping to avoid. But maybe everything will turn out alright in the end. Are you reading any isekai series that aren't set in a bog-standard fantasy world? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Josh, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Alex, Daniel, Steve, Kevin, Alex, Cookie, Nick, Borgie, Jake, and Exiled Rogue. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. If you're looking for Commander content, I split my channel last year, so all new Commander videos are over on my other channel, Commander by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.